Hey, what's up, everybody? So I wanted to talk about the tweet that Donald Trump put out yesterday after the fail of his Trump Care legislation. It failed bigly, believe me. And he tweeted out and said that Republicans should just repeal failing Obamacare now and work on a new healthcare plan that will start from a clean slate. Dems will join in. Now, I personally believe that the Affordable Care Act, despite what President Donald Trump is saying, is here to stay, and the Republican Party, both in the Senate and the House, are not going to touch it because the Affordable Care Act is becoming more and more popular as time goes on, and more Americans are seeing the benefits of having, all these protections when it comes to Americans dealing with healthcare, such as staying on your parents' health insurance until you're 26. You can't be kicked off your health insurance due to a pre-existing condition, and so forth and so forth. And most Americans don't want to have it repealed because it would affect them negatively. And President Donald Trump, on the other hand, he doesn't really understand healthcare. He even said once that this is more complicated or difficult than I expected, because he's not the kind of person that thoroughly looks into anything. But the fact that they control the office of the presidency, they control the Supreme Court, and they control the House and the Senate, and they're still unable to pass their legislation after they've been bitching and crying about it for the past 7 years or whatever. It just shows that they're incompetent. And I'm glad that they're incompetent, because if you looked at the healthcare system that we had before, it allowed 44,000 people every single year to die due to lack of healthcare. And that's according to a Harvard medical school study that was conducted a few years prior to the implementation of the Affordable Care Act. Now, I personally would want the Affordable Care Act to be repealed and replaced with a single-payer universal healthcare system, because if you look at the countries that have the best healthcare in the world, those are countries that have single-payer universal healthcare. And also, the United States pays more per capita than any other country in the world by a long shot. They pay more bigly, and if you look at the countries that have the best healthcare, they're also more cost-effective, and they don't have tens of thousands of people dying due to lack of health care. They don't have millions of people who have declared bankruptcy due to medical bills, and things like that. And I just think the Republicans don't want to lose their seats, because if you look at a lot of the Midwestern states, they had a study that came out and said that if they repealed the Affordable Care Act and replaced it with Trump Care, then you would see uninsured rates spike up nationally on average 80%, and in the Midwestern states, I seen in Kentucky it was over 220%. The uninsured rate would spike up. That's why you've seen one of the senators in Kentucky vote against the say that he's not going to go forth with the Trump Care legislation. And this repeal and replace later, that's even worse, because you're going to leave people in limbo while you guys are still trying to figure out something, and then people are going to have to pay the cost due to it's almost like they want to repeal it because it's something that validates them as like a person. I mean, I don't understand why you want to repeal it in the first place, because you have all these protections for people who or you have all these protections for Americans when it comes to dealing with health care, such as staying on their parents' insurance until they're 26. You have the you can't be kicked off your health insurance due to a pre-existing condition, and all these other things. And it's like they just want to repeal it, and I just don't understand. I don't understand how you can go into politics and want to make people's lives more difficult. If I was a politician, I would try to make sure that what I do benefits to the maximum effect my constituents as much as possible. And that's just not the kind of politics we have in the United States. But I think that the Affordable Care Act is here to stay, and the Republicans are learning real quick that repealing it is not in their best political interest if they want to stay in their political office. So that's all I have to say. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, comment, and have a nice evening. Peace.